تبارك اسم ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام.
All right, welcome guys to part 4 of 5 in this series where I am debunking every example that Avery brought forth in his video, 5 Qur'an variants every Christian should know. If you haven't watched the first 3 parts, I highly recommend you guys go and watch it because I completely dismantle those arguments he brought as well. But if not, it's fine. You can watch from here. Now, if you are enjoying this content, I would highly appreciate you liking and subscribing to my channel, inshallah. And without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So the 4th example that he brought forth is in Surah Yusuf, verse 90. Surah Yusuf, verse 90. Let us look at the verse first, okay? So Surah Yusuf, verse 90, the example he brought up is in the Warsh recitation and the Hafs recitation. There's a difference in the two. The one is, I'm going to point it out right now, which is right here. This is in the Hafs version, by the way. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قَالُوا أَإِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ يُوسُف. Okay, this is in the Hafs version. In the Hafs version. Now in the Warsh, it's قَالُوا أَنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ يُوسُف. Okay, now it's a very tiny little difference that you see here. And what is it? It's one is saying قَالُوا أَنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ يُوسُف, and the other one is قَالُوا أَإِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ يُوسُف. The difference here is أَإِنَّكَ, and in the other one it's إِنَّكَ. So there is no hamza in the middle. That's what's different, right? And what's the difference? When you put a hamza there, it becomes kind of like a question. So you're asking. In the other one, it's more of like a statement, right? At least when you read it, that's how you think it is. Now, here's the thing. There are no question, like if you read the entire Qur'an here, there are no question marks. There's no question marks, there's no explanation marks. There's no periods, none of that stuff, right? So, in this video, they're claiming that one is a question and the other one is not a question. How do you know? How do you know it's not a question? This is the first thing this is the first thing I have to say. The second thing is they misrepresent al-Tabari's point here. So let's just watch the video and then I'll comment on it, inshallah.
The one with the question.
Hold on a second. Let's just get this straight. You mean to tell me, daughter of Christ,
Actually,
one reading of the Quran over the other one? So
confirmation, and
right.
He says in the other versions, it's confirmation. It's affirmative. Innaka la anta Yusuf. You are Yusuf. And the Tabari actually prefers the question mark one.
So wait a second. You have Al-Tabari picking one reading of the Quran over the other one?
Yes, right here it says, Tabari, who's Abu Ja'far, he says, وَالصَّوَابُ مِنَ الْقِرَاءَ, which means the correct reading. He says, فِي ذَلِكَ عندنا, according to us, قِرَاءَةُ مَنْ قَرَأَهُ بِالْإِسْتِفْهَامِ, which means the reading of one who questions.
Okay. So to the person who's this giant doc, like, do you actually understand Arabic? Because this is such an embarrassing thing you just did. Wallahi, it's so embarrassing. So let's talk about it. So the number one, Al-Tabari here. Actually, wait. Let's just keep watching. Let's keep watching.
Get this straight. You mean to tell me, daughter of Christ, woman of God, that we have an Islamic scholar, historian, right? One of their best, one of their biggest, is saying that one of the readings of the eternal Quran, the eternal speech of Allah, is incorrect.
He's saying the correct one is this, which means.
All right. So there he goes. This is where the misrepresentation is. He didn't say he prefers one reading over the other reading. That's not what he said. She misrepresented him, and she did this on purpose. Either that or she does not understand Arabic. Because in the same document that they brought, which is At-Tabari's work, right? You can see what they're talking about is this ayah right here. إِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ Yusuf. And this إِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ Yusuf is the Warsh recitation. And remember how the Warsh recitation, it's not أَنَّكَ, it's not the one that's asking a question. So here, this is what they're talking, this is what's in question. So At-Tabari is saying that when you read this ayah, okay, and here, وَالصَّوَابُ مِنَ الْقُرَّاءُ فِي ذَلِكَ, in this ayah, this right here is talking about this ayah. So when you are reading this ayah, it's better to read it as if you're doing a question, as if you're asking a question. So that's what he meant. He didn't say, oh, I prefer the warsh over the hafs, or I prefer the hafs over the warsh. This is completely deceitful what they're doing. And I think she knows that she's doing that. She's acting like the shaitan here. Okay? And to prove this, by the way, to prove that this is a question in both scenario, okay? If you look at the verse itself, قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي. Okay? So they said, are you Yusuf? And he answered and he replied, أنا Yusuf, I am Yusuf, and this is my brother. وهذا أخي. If you look at the Warsh where they claim this is not a question, it says, قالوا أنك لأنت يوسف. Same thing. It's you are Yusuf? They're surprised. You're Yusuf? They're not saying, are you Yusuf? They're saying, you are Yusuf? But like they're surprised in a question. And same thing. قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي. So same thing in this recitation, Yusuf answers this question, even though it's not used the same way as it's used in Hafs. It's still, he answers, because this قال أنا يوسف, it's an answer to what they're saying. So it wouldn't make sense if somebody told you, oh, you're Ali, and he says, I'm Ali. Doesn't make sense. It only makes sense if they're asking, you're Ali? Yeah, I'm Ali. That's how it would make sense, right? So this is what he meant. This is what At-Tabari meant. And in fact, there is no contradiction whatsoever with this or the other recitation. Walhamdulillah, this completely dismantles everything they talk about. And I don't even have to bring my own sources for this, because they brought their own sources for me. They brought the sources I wanted, which is this was right here. Okay. So yeah. So one last thing. Let me just conclude real quick. So here, At-Tabari is just talking about this ayah, which is in the Warsh, by the way. And he's saying when you're reading this ayah, it's better to read it in a question rather than a statement. Well, Allahu a'lam, walhamdulillah. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say for this one. I'll see you guys on the next video. Wa jazakumullahu alfu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.